News Talk 1150 WGBR. Good morning. WGBR time 6:41. And we're here as we are every Monday morning with our representative out of Raleigh, Mr. Efton Sager. Good morning.
Good morning, Wayne.
How you doing?
Hey, it was a great weekend.
Well, tell me about it.
Well, we
what
had
was great about it?
three Christmas parades.
3?
Yeah, Mount Olive, Fremont, Goldsboro.
Yeah,
I think several people are familiar with those parades. I mean, got started about 8:15, got through at about 5:30 in the evening. So it was an enjoyable day. Though the Mount Olive and Goldsboro had a terrific crowd.
Yeah, wow.
So I mean, I suppose maybe part of the bad economy, at least people can get out and watch the parade and get joyful for the Christmas season.
Well, with 3 Christmas parades, I hope we were able to certainly get in the Christmas spirit.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the one thing that I'd like to cover this morning, Wayne, is our last mini session we had in Raleigh is the Racial Justice Act was amended. It was not deleted.
Mm-hmm.
It was not repealed, but the fact that the statistics part of it and so forth was taken out of the bill, which is, I think, our district attorneys all over the state was asking for that to be done because it was clogging up the courts.
Well, give us a little background on that. Tell us about that.
Well,
bill.
it had to do. It didn't make a difference whether you were black, Hispanic, whatever you was. If statistics approved, if they tried to use statistics, you didn't have enough of a certain race on the jury or in your community or something like that. It was just so many things on there that. It made it where somebody that's convicted to the death penalty could appeal over and over and tie it up for years. And we got plenty of appeals now in that respect, and they seem to think that they get plenty of due diligence as far as make sure that they get all their time in court heard.
You know, on the surface, the title of the bill it sounded very innocent. Sounded like you were really you're trying to make things right. But as you delve into it and you look deeper into that bill, it just you found things that didn't look right.
Well, and I think that's one of the reasons with a title like that you can't hardly afford to completely repeal it. So it was amended. No. It was amended to take out things that didn't need to be in there.
Okay.
And so I mean it was a good job all around. We got it through both the House and the Senate. Well, actually the House had passed it previously. It required the Senate's action this time, but then we concurred with the Senate and we passed it.
Okay. Very good.
And the other thing was that a lot of people wanted us to cap the gas tax. We attempted in the House to do that. It was already in the budget, so we had some pushback from the Senate, and they said, no, we can't afford to do that. But the one thing I'd like for the people of Wayne County to know is the fact that we fund the roads a lot different in this state than they do in a lot of states. Most of the states, the county takes care of funding them with property taxes. And I don't think anybody wants that.
No.
So, I mean, like I said, even though when we complain about we got the highest gas tax in the Southeast, that's because South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee funds theirs a different way. And so, I mean, at least I don't want to see that 3 cents go on maybe in January either. But it's a whole lot better than having it pushed back down to the counties, because I know they talked about that a few years ago, and the counties don't want it. I don't want it, and I don't think that 99% of the people in Wayne County would want more property taxes.
No, we don't, and we have always been known, or we were up until recent years, known as a good road state. But it comes a point, I mean, how high can we go? We have to draw the line. Can't we cap it somewhere?
Well, we're looking at the fact that there's a lot of money has been in past years drained off from the Highway Trust Fund to nonprofits and so forth like that. And the oversight is the real answer. Get the right oversight, and then we will be able to cap those gas taxes.
You mean money was actually being taken for other uses?
Oh, no.
I think
we've had some of that problem in a lot of different areas as far as the education, the lottery, and so forth. That's kind of halfway straightened out now. It's not completely solved, but we got better oversight. That's the reason we're going back now ever so often with the full appropriations committee, and we're looking to see how the budget's being operated. In other words, make sure it's being spent where it's supposed to be spent. And I think we've done a lot as far as the last year or so, as far as the leadership, as far as taking care of the right issues that people are things concerned about.
Okay. All right. So what else you been working on here?
Well, let me
besides
see.
the Christmas season and all that. Nice tie, by the way.
Well, old Santa's here. You know, he's coming. but I mean, the other thing is, we've tried real hard for the voter ID to get it passed, and now I'm sure everybody has heard that some of the counties are trying to do it locally, and that's that the governor's saying no, we can't do that. I mean, even though it's a local bill, but it's something that be unconstitutional. And it's amazing what we can declare unconstitutional at times. In fact, on the suit that we got from the municipalities as far as the de-annexation and so forth, on the 15th of this month, we're going to be going to court on that. And I've never heard of one government. I mean, actually, the county and the municipal governments are extension of state government, but we're actually suing ourselves. I mean, I don't know how it's going to fare out, but I mean, we'll see. And of course, the Attorney General's office will probably be the one to be hearing the case. And
that's in reference to the de-annexation.
So I mean, we got a lot of things going on. I mean, if it's just one or two issues, my head wouldn't get so muddled up sometimes.
Okay, well, get back to that to the voter ID thing here quickly. Where do we stand on that again?
Well, it's still on the table, and we go back in February for a couple of days. We go back in April for a couple of days before we go back in the short session in May. If we have the right number, we will still be able to put it up and override the governor's veto. If we do that, then it can become law. But as long as we don't have the right numbers, we need 72. And we've only got 68 Republicans there, and we can't seem to get any of the Democrats to come across the aisle. Okay. And even though those Democrats that have good constituents back in their area, I haven't talked to any of those constituents that don't want it. They all want it. They all think it's necessary. And ever since that one city councilman from Morrisville, she voted twice. She said voted the second time. She said because didn't think the first one counted. I think that's evidence enough that we need some kind of identifications for us.
Absolutely.
But, and of course the argument's been all along too. They say, well, we don't know of any voter fraud. Well, if you don't have people identifying themselves, how do you know how much you have?
You don't know how much you have or don't have. You just don't know unless you have the ID, the voter ID.
And people that come here from other states, they're just amazed. They says, "What do you mean you don't have voter ID?" So we have it there, But anyhow,
well, you have to have your ID to do other things. Cash a check.
Sure do.
Show ID to enter certain buildings. You just have to have that. All right. Very good. Efton Sager, representative from Raleigh for the Wayne County area and Duplin County as well. Did they ever figure out your lines, your boundaries? Well,
that has not. There's two suits up that I don't think they'll go anywhere. We don't know that though. But some of them wanted to change the map somewhat. Someone wants completely overturned and redo the maps. Like I said, we won't know whether we're going to have the extension of the primary, whether we're going to throw the maps completely out, or what will happen. We may wind up running our own districts if it's held up in court too long. I don't think that'll happen. I think by the middle of January it'll be solved. But who am I? I'm just one person. I don't know.
If someone wants to talk to you about that, Efton, they can call you or contact you how?
The best way is always catch me on my cell phone at 919-922-1484. And even though if he may be acting up and I can't hear you good, I'll get the landline and we'll talk.
All right. And they can also contact you by email.
By email, efton.sager@ncleg.net is my official mail. And also I have another email address, but I'd prefer not use that because it get too clogged up there.
Plus, I can't remember all that. All right. Efton, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next Monday.
Okay, thank you.
Efton Sager of the North Carolina House. We'll be right back.